Welcome back to the Daily Dose. I'm Susan Scarlett. That guy is Dr. Robert Cochran.
Yay.
Or we could say Robert Cochran, PhD. How much fun is that to say that?
It's
And,
still surreal. I mean, it was two
oh,
days
is it?
ago, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and so, we talked briefly yesterday, and I told you that was kind of my day one with that new thing of going, oh my gosh, this thing, because you go after it long enough, and sometimes you can feel like it'll never happen, especially when it's not a linear path, right? It's
Well,
not like if you
especially,
just
yeah,
do this.
yeah.
This thing was fraught with danger. This thing was fraught with peril
Mhm.
and frustration and enemies. I mean, the hero's journey was an apt metaphor that I just happened to be using.
And created a pathway into your future for you that you didn't see. If you hadn't had those chaotic uh, dead ends and trauma, you wouldn't know as much as you know now. You wouldn't have potential for your future that you're like champing at the bit to have a chance to get to. And it all came from that.
Yeah, it's an interesting line because that was very much James, my mentor's final question to me as well within the dissertation defense was, what if you had shown up and it was all rainbows and unicorns, And we talked that through, and on the one hand, there's great value in the struggle and the things that were learned because of it. On the other, what I don't want to do is it's a line to walk to go that because I think that can give some people in power the right to go, see, that's why we abuse you, so you'll get better. I think people really can justify that. They get very Machiavellian about it. And so I think as because we have a lot of these conversations, it's neither black nor white, right? It's not a binary thing. It's not like you need to be abused in order to learn or grow, and it's not like if you get a perfect situation that everything will be perfect either. It's in between. It's all, I mean, as I said, it's possible if everything went perfect, I'd be sitting on the Michael J. Fox board right now, maybe, right? It's
And
possible.
and you may not actually have your own nonprofit. Everything may have changed in some
Right.
way,
Yeah,
right?
it's possible everything could have gone great, and I'd be in a wonderful place there. And not that I'm not in a wonderful place now, as you know, we're still in the midst of struggle in a lot of ways. However, we're empowered in the struggle. So I want to be careful about that question. And I love that you framed it that way. And again, you echoed James as well, whom we've got to get on a dose here soon. All the committee members need their turn. They're, they're all
For
wonderful.
sure. Yeah, that other committee, I think of your committee as this group that's been with you since what, January of this year?
I mean, James said yes officially at the end of January. It took us another 6 weeks to get everybody involved. Annie was in, before then. Even before I had James, she said, just, tell me where to sign up. She's been my
Yeah,
rock.
yeah.
But finding Tony and Laura took a little more time, and they were just absolute stellar additions. I mean, Laura's, right out of the gate, what she hit, and in her notes, she was the one who gave me the notes in the dissertation itself. She talked about how moved and important she thought my personal statement was, which for those who wish to see that, it'll be published soon. It was an edition encouraged by James and Annie for me to basically write the hero's journey, my hero's journey.
Yeah. And it was a scary journey. I mean, maybe
Mhm.
everybody's is, but you really were. You really were. It was really hard for quite a while. And
Yeah,
so where I was going was this committee that's, Laura and Tony and Annie and James, that's they really got you and got what you were doing and added stuff and gave you stuff to think about and to run with. And that other part, that first year and a half or 2 years, 2.5, um, just feels like such ancient history. It feels like fuel for things to think about, but not your committee. Your committee really was working with you, this group.
right. And it'll be important, and it's part of the lift here to look back at that retrospectively and tell that story through, at least will be in,
Yeah.
my DIY
Yeah.
and PhD, to really assess, here's what I saw, here's what I felt. Because what Laura said is, she said, your story needs to be told to other students. Other students need to hear what you're going through, because there are many who are probably feeling that and are feeling isolated like I was, and can be empowered by that to say, wait a minute, you too can be resilient. And that is the connection to the Parkinson's community. That is the greatest lesson. If isolation, which we knew from the beginning is one of the biggest problems, part of me, by being isolated at the level I was, got to a level of compassion.
Yeah. Yes. So well said. I'm so glad you said that.
Well, we'll say more on the next Daily Dose.